2 Corinthians 12, verse 7. It says, my grace is enough. It's all you need. My strength comes into its own in your weakness. Once I heard that, I was glad to let it happen. I quit focusing on the handicap and began appreciating the gift. It was a case of Christ's strength moving in on my weakness. That's really what we're talking about. This whole month is Christ's strength coming in on our weakness. Another scripture in the Bible that we read last week says that even the greatest of human strength isn't as strong as God's weakness, which gets really confusing to me if I talk about it for too long. So now I take limitations in stride, and with good cheer. These limitations that cut me down to size, abuse, accidents, oppositions, bad break, I let Christ take over. And so the weaker I get, the stronger I become. It's such a paradox. The weaker I get, the stronger that I become. So this morning we're talking about strength in humility. This word stronger at the end of that scripture that says the stronger I become, or the more strength I have, is actually the Greek word dunatos, D-U-N-A-T-O-S. And it means strong, mighty, influential, man of power, or strong enough. Put that scripture back up there. And it says, so the weaker I get, the stronger I become. That word stronger right there, it means that you're strong enough. In other words, the weaker you get, the humbler you become, the more God's strength is going to be enough for you and what you need. How many of you need just God's strength to be enough for you for what you need? And the question is, how do I become weak and let Christ become stronger through me? And the answer is to become humble. Now let's read a couple scriptures together. Proverbs 16, verse 16 says this, how much better is it to get wisdom than gold, to choose understanding rather than silver? The highway of the upright avoids evil. He who guards his way guards his life. Listen to this. Pride goes before destruction, a haughty spirit before a fall. Better to be lowly in spirit and among the oppressed than to share plunder with the proud. Whoever gives heed to instruction prospers, and blessed is he who trusts in the Lord. Now this morning, I'm going to give you kind of some straight Bible. Is that okay? To give you some straight Bible. But who wants to fall? Nobody wants to fall, and nobody wants to get to a place of destruction. But the Bible's very clear that a haughty spirit leads to falling. The haughty spirit, that word haughty actually means external. An external part of you that just is haughty or proud, or you seem like you got more than, what you really have. It's a higher estimation than who you really are. And if that haughty spirit or that haughtiness in your life turns into pride, which is an internal part of your life, and that turns into eternal, it will go and it will become destructive in your life, and it will lead you to destruction. How many know this is pretty serious? And this word destruction is the word sheber, which means this, and I want you to hear these words. It means a breaking, brokenness, fracture, crushing, breach, crash, collapse, disaster, injury, and ruin. That's what pride leads to. When haughtiness leads to a fall, but you can get back up from haughtiness. But once that roots in your life and becomes more serious and becomes pride in your life, it actually leads to crushing, a crushing moment in your life. In this same scripture, it says, whoever gives heed will prosper. What is giving heed? Giving heed is listening. Whoever will listen and do what is told them will prosper. Heeding is putting yourself in a place where you will listen. What is that? That's putting yourself in a humble place. In other words, a lower place than the person that's talking to you. And you say, yes, whatever you're saying to me, you're giving me advice in this time, you're giving me counsel in this time, you're giving me a stern warning in my life and a rebuke, and you're saying, hey, you better watch out for this area in your life. When you take heed, you're actually taking a lower position, and you're saying, yes, I will come under the influence of this person's correction in my life so that I won't fall, so that I won't slip, so that I won't miss a step and end up in a place where I'm hurt or broken or just wounded in life.
My name's Amanda Wright. I've been coming to Word of Life now for over a year. I went for an interview, and before I'd even gotten the job, she'd said, "Oh, if you're looking for a new faith community, you should come." So I figured if she's inviting me before I've even gotten a job, it must be a really great place. So I ended up coming and meeting a bunch of wonderful people, and more than that, I really started to build a genuine relationship with God. I was a Christian my whole life and really felt like I was just going through the motions and never really building a sincere, genuine, intimate relationship with God. And once I started coming here, I knew that there was so much for me to do and to learn and to grow and ways to do that. And I had people there to help me. Since I've been coming to Word of Life, I've really felt like I've had a lot of direction and things in my life I've been struggling with have been turning around, and I'm starting to feel like I have a new foundation, that I'm really starting to build my life on something worthwhile, and I know will not fail. And none of this could have happened had I not had the opportunity to come to Word of Life, had I not been invited in the first place. If somebody happens to say to you, "Why don't you come to church on Sunday?" it is just the most worthwhile decision you could possibly make.